Hey, good evening, everyone. Welcome to VA Claims, Veterans Helping Veterans. This is our live Q&A. We got to meet your admin team here. We got Stephanie and Blake, and I'm Chris. We're here with you tonight. So how's everyone doing?
Great.
I know. Blake, how are you doing about after Sunday? I think I remember, wait a minute, on our last live, you had predicted what?
Well, it's predictions are predictions. They predict a lot of weather things too that don't happen.
Yeah. We had a good time though. I mean, it was. I think it was one of the most boring Super Bowls.
Here's the thing: you don't hear any KC fans stating that the refs took it from us.
The refs actually did a pretty good job.
I have to say the refs actually did a really good on this game for sure. But anyways, we'll get back to all the questions here.
All right, so everyone who's here with us tonight, if you're new, great. If you're coming back, like I see Peter, thanks for coming back. Here's how this is going to work tonight. You're going to type your question in the comment section, and we'll put it in the queue to be answered as we get it. All right, just make sure you include as much information as possible without writing a book, so we can be able to answer your question with all the pertinent information we need. If you have a question that we can't answer, you can email us at vacvhv@gmail.com, and we'll be happy to get back to you. Just remember, guys, we put it in the queue. We try to answer it as we get them. Some answers take longer than others. If you're still on chat and we have questions, we'll ask you for that. Just retype it in the chat so we can come back and hopefully get you a good answer.
We will also drop the email link from time to time throughout the live. And if you think our information is helpful, beneficial, and you want to donate, there's a donate option. It goes to support the YouTube channel. We also do consultations between Blake and I, so we can always do it that route as well. But I guess, let's get into it. Huh?
Well, we got one.
Blake,
we got one more administrative item here.
Okay.
All right, so let's get the disclaimer. This is a live Q&A disclaimer. You want to go ahead, Steph?
Veterans Helping Veterans is not an accredited agent, VSO, attorney, or entity recognized by the Department of Veterans Affairs, and we're not affiliated with the VA in any way. We do not assist veterans with the preparation, presentation, and prosecution of VA disability claims for VA benefits. This Q&A is solely for guidance purposes and should not be considered as medical or legal advice.
Awesome. All right. So we want to get started off with a question we have from somebody already, correct, Steph?
So let's just, we have 2 videos coming in the next couple weeks. One is on protected rule ratings, and the other one is on the 55-year rule regarding reexaminations. And it's funny because we've been working on these for the last week that we're starting to get some of these questions on the 55-year rule. So let's jump right into it.
All right.
All right, guys. So we got this question from a gentleman. He was not able to attend. He's asking that as per below, the disability is acknowledged by the VA. I'm 68 years old. So why am I not permanent in total due to the 55-year-old rule and not subject to reevaluation? So he's showing us all his disabilities, which I thank you, Steve. However, let's go ahead and bring Blake and I back in it, and we'll give you a little discussion about this regarding the 55-year rule and PNT. So basically, the veteran that I just showed you the information, I have a feeling he is PNT based on those disabilities. He's going to have to get his rating code sheet or look at his benefit letter to see if it actually says PNT. The 55-year rule is for reexaminations, and without getting into too much of it tonight, that basically means if you're over the age of 55, you are not subjected to reexaminations unless, and that's an unless, there's some unusual circumstances and or you file new claims. So I'm going to leave it at that. To be sure to check out the video in the next couple of weeks. It's very informative on the 55-year rule. And the only way your rules or ratings are protected is under the 5, 10, 20 protected rule ratings. That video is coming out next week, so be sure to check out that video. Okay? And do we want to talk about the one other one we had, Chris?
Yeah, Blue Water.
Yeah, so another veteran came and asked this question before we went live about the Blue Water and about the PACT Act and what are the differences, because he's a little confused. So basically, here is the Blue Water. The Blue Water came out in 2019 and it added additional presumptive for veterans that served on ships. And it's the AO, Agent Orange Exposure. You still have to have a disability that was caused by the AO, but if you served in these areas between these dates, and this is a PDF, guys, it's 32 pages. Chris is going to put the link in the comment section. Then you potentially do qualify for the Blue Water. What he was asking is what's the difference between the PACT Act? The PACT Act, which came out in August of 2022, came out with additional 20 or more presumptive conditions and additional areas of exposure. And without getting into all of it, we also will drop the video on the PACT Act because there is a difference between the two. But just to briefly touch on it, we'll provide the information, but they are two different things. There is the Blue Water and then there is the PACT Act. And the difference is based on the Blue Water is more for the era of the Vietnam, but on a ship. The PACT Act encompasses a lot more presumptive conditions and presumptive areas with a whole bunch of areas. So without getting into too much, we'll drop everything in the comment section. Were you able to do that, Chris?
Yeah, so I got it labeled Blue Water.
Okay.
I put the PDF in there, the link. It seems to work. Hopefully that pops up. If not, we can email it to you if you're really interested about it. Just email us and we'll attach it. And then the next one I put PACT Act, and I linked our video that we did for that. So everyone should be ready to go. If you have any questions, let us know.
So just keep in mind, guys, we've got two coming. We got the protected rule ratings on the 5, 10, 20 year, and we got the 55-year rule reexamination coming up in the next 2 weeks. We do have a few new videos, so be sure to check that out. Just a quick shout out. Hi, Peter. I saw that Peter's on. Thank you again for always supporting us. Laughing Guy's on.
Guys back, yeah.
Mark's on. We appreciate all the people that support us on our YouTube channel. And with that, Blake
Do
and
we
I
want to make? Do
go
we
ahead. Oh
want to
yeah,
make
go ahead,
one
Blake,
more?
on yours. Yes.
One more thing. We are getting tons and tons of posts asking about funding being cut. Nothing has been done, and nothing most likely will be done towards VA funding. It is political suicide. So if you're reading these clickbait articles that are out there, stop.
Yes.
There's nothing true in them.
It's what it is. It's the Congressional Budget Office. Every year it's put out. Nothing ever comes about it. So like Blake said, please stop worrying about it. Please stop watching the clickbait videos, the articles.
It's like, don't worry about it till we have to worry about it.
Right. The VA compensation is there, guys. Nothing's going away and it's not being taxed. All right. We don't normally like to talk about political. However, we're just getting inundated with these requests for posts and we just want to nip it in the bud. Okay. Are we ready?
So yeah, first we're going to start off with Mark Kuhn.
Okay.
Yeah, it's always in the way.
Are you reading it or you want me to read
Yeah,
it,
I'll do
Chris?
it. Why does it take so long to get community care? How long should it take?
So
we're both talking
Go
about
ahead, Blake.
stories about that.
Go ahead, Blake.
Well, I am currently going through this myself with dental. It took me the first time I broke a tooth on January the 3rd. I didn't see, they sent me to an endodontist, which took me, well, it took me a week and a half before I heard from community care, and then another week before I got the appointment, which was almost 3 weeks out. And now the endodontist says it can't be salvaged, and they're sending me out to an oral surgeon, and I've been waiting 2 weeks for that. So you need to, if you've waited longer than 2 weeks to hear from community care, you need to raise a stink. You need to talk to your patient advocate at your VA. As soon as I did that, I got a call the next day from the chief of dental at the KCVA, and he got on top of it.
And just to touch for community care, if you're asking how long it takes to get into community care, you have to wait for the referral from your primary doctor to get to the community. As Blake said, it can take a little while. If they cannot get you within 30 days, then you are afforded to go out in the community. But you also have to be mindful that some of the doctors out in the community are taking longer to see veterans than if they are with the VA. So it's really going to depend.
I had that happen also when I finally got the endodontist appointment. It was almost 3 weeks out. When I got to the endodontist, I'm sitting in his waiting room, and I hear his staff talking to people on the phone. Oh, sure, come on in. We can get you in tomorrow. When I've waited almost 3 weeks for it. So
Yeah, Mark said he's been waiting a month. So, like you said, Steph's all about it. Blake is all about it. Call your patient advocate. All of a sudden, the phone starts ringing.
Or secure message your patient advocacy and put a fire under somebody's you know what, because I guarantee if you go through patient advocacy, they have to finalize, they have to follow through and they have to finalize and get it done for you. Waiting a month to go out in the community after you've been referred is too long. So you need to get with patient advocacy for sure. Yep.
And Steph, the 30-day thing, it's 30 days if it's something primary like surgery, OB are both still considered primary. They have to get you in within 60 days for a specialist.
Yeah. Specialist. Yep.
Okay. Andre Soto, what is the chances of veterans losing IU at 67 years of age by it being dropped?
Here we go again. Stop listening to those clickbaits out there that are telling you IU is going away. IU has not gone away. There's nothing out there that's stating it's going away. Individual unemployability is what IU is, and that's when a veteran's being paid at 100% because they are unable to be gainfully employed. I have seen veterans in their 70s apply for IU. There is no stipulation right now per the M21 that indicates IU has an age restriction, and there's nothing about it that it's going away.
And more than likely, if something does come about where they put an age restriction on it, if you already have it, it will probably be grandfathered in.
Correct. They're not going to take it away. So please try not to stress about that. And Andre Soto's saying, what's up? Paul Rodriguez is talking to Andre.
Oh, you guys know each other? What's up?
What's up?
All right. Juliette LeBlanc. Hey there, I'm 70% unemployable P&T. Can I work at all without losing benefits?
Yes.
Yes.
under IU, again, you're being paid at 100%, but you're retaining your 70% overall disability. You can work, and I want you to listen to me carefully. You can work per one individual of the federal poverty level. And I think right now it's around 15, 16,000 annually. It's not your household, it's one individual person.
And now I will add a stipulation to that. That 15,000 annually, they do divide it out over 12 months. If you make all that money in 3 months, they will come back and question it, and you'll have a fight on your hands.
Yes.
Steph, does your IU talk about that?
Yeah, I have an IU. Yep.
I'll
Perfect. Put that. I have a video about this. So anybody that's interested in understanding about total disability due to individual unemployability, be sure to watch the video. Also, the other thing, keep in mind when you're on IU, if you decide you actually want to go back to work and think, hey, maybe I can actually try and go back full-time work, you can do that. Your IU is not going to be taken away right away. There is a period where the VA is going to see your SSA records. They're going to see you're working. If they do, they're going to then question, are you going back to work full time? So IU is dependent on you not being able to substantially be gainfully employed. But keep in mind, if you want to go back, you can.
All right, since this is just on topic, Art of War, she is posting,
Hey, I know who that is.
does working while on you put someone at greater risk for reevaluations?
Oh, that's a good question. No,
Does it put them on the radar or something?
no, because
If
again,
you, the only way you're going to get on the radar is if you're making more than that amount, specified amount of money.
right. And you have to understand this is an annual evaluation. The VA looks at everything annually. So they're going to look on your income for the previous year. They're going to get your records and they're going to see. And like Blake said, if you made 15,000 in 3 months, that's going to shoot up a red flag. But if it was 15,000, which is around the annual, then okay, they're going to see it and they're going to file it away. Now, keep in mind, you can be IU and not be P&T. And without confusing everybody, what that means is you can have your disabilities that are not all static and you can still have IU. Most veterans are 100% P&T with IU because all their disabilities are static. So just keep that in mind.
Art of War said, hey, girl.
Hey, you know who she is. She's going to help us out in one of our videos.
Hope so, yeah. All right, here we go. Eagle Chick 22, can you service connect diabetes to existing knee claim?
Hey, wait a minute. I like
No.
Eagles. I like the Eagles. Go Eagles. But no, I've never heard of diabetes. I don't. How does your knee cause diabetes?
The only thing he could use possibly is not being able to exercise. Therefore, you could use it as an intermediate obesity as an intermediate step. But more than likely, they're going to say, you can use a recumbent bike. You can use the arm bike. I can't think of the name of it.
Yeah,
all that to burn calories.
And the MOVE program.
Yeah.
Swimming pool,
so
something.
I mean, if the knee, like he said, like Blake said, if the knee was causing something for the diabetes, but I mean, Blake, you're a doctor, retired, so.
Yeah, I don't see any way, shape, or form of anybody writing a nexus other than to say that you're obese, which I don't know from this, and claiming that as secondary to not being able and using it as an intermediate step. Has using obesity as an intermediate step been used? Yes. Is it likely to be able to do that? No, that's a very high hill to climb.
Well, that's what Eagle Chick, that's what she's talking about.
Okay. So not being able to exercise is causing the hip and back issues, which are service connect. Okay. So not being able to exercise, like Blake says, it's possible if the veteran's doctor can tie the diabetes as, let me rephrase that. If the doctor can state that the service-connected disabilities are causing the diabetes due to the intermediate step of the weight gain. Did I say that correctly?
Yes.
So let's repeat that. If the veteran's doctor can state that the service-connected disabilities have caused the diabetes due
Cause the
to
weight gain.
the weight gain, the intermediate step, then
Which is
yes,
then causing diabetes.
it's then causing the diabetes, then it's plausible. But that's going to take your doctor to give a strong medical opinion in the records for sure.
That's going to take some work.
Yeah.
Yeah.
All right. Paul Rodriguez, currently going through mental health sessions. How do I or am I able to obtain what the mental health specialist is documenting?
Well, if you're going through the VA, you can look at your blue button under your notes and check your medical records that way. Are you referring to healthcare? Or are you referring to your benefits exams, like your CMP exams? Because your healthcare should always be, right, Blake? It's always provided to you.
Right. And if it's from a private, if it's private, you can always request your medical records through them.
Yeah.
They have to, if you request it, they have to give it to you. They'll try to tell you, some of them will try to tell you that, oh, we can only send it to another provider, but they can give you a copy. But they
Yep.
can also charge you for that. They have the right to charge. It's a per page charge.
Did he say anything additional to his follow-up on that they were from healthcare side or benefit?
No, I have not seen anything
Okay.
follow up, but it's always good to get your paperwork and take it to the VA to get it into your medical record
Absolutely.
from an outside doctor, correct?
That is correct too.
Yeah.
Yep.
So you got to be your own advocate. You got to, you kind of have to do some legwork yourself. But yeah, you should be able to get it from your doctor if it's outside the VA. Now you said the CMP exam, you can't get those, can you?
Not till after the claim closes, and you have to get your C file. Or if you have an accredited agent, they should be able to help you.
Right. All right. Peter's always good to us.
Hey, Peter, you are awesome. Thank you for the donation. We appreciate the support to the YouTube channel. Like I said, it goes to support all the equipment so that we can do these wonderful lives and our videos.
So remember last time we talked to Peter, he was having a bad day at the VA.
He was.
So
How is he doing?
Today he's having a good day. So
Yeah, I remember
Peter.
the last time it was not so good. I'm glad to hear you're having a better day, Peter.
All right. All right, Tim Dog. I'm a Gulf War veteran that has never filed a VA claim. I submitted my intent to file on October 24. I know that Gulf War vets can file for presumptive conditions. What is my next step?
Okay, so your next step is to, one, get your service treatment records. If you have not gotten those already, you need to apply for your service treatment records. Two, you need to get in with the VA on the healthcare side and get the Gulf War exam. Three, you need to make sure if you're going to file for any presumptives due to the Gulf War, that you look at the list of the presumptives and make sure that you have a current chronic disability associated to the presumptive area. And where I'm going with this, for example, IBS. If you have a current chronic diagnosis for IBS that is presumptive to the Gulf War, then you can file. Having the Gulf War as a presumptive is a little bit of a leg up for you, because the VA is confirming and conceding that you were in the area of the presumptive. So all you need is the current chronic condition.
And what she's like, if she's talking about IBS, if you do have incidences in your record from your time in service that you had stomach issues, doesn't mean that you're going to get IBS as a disability unless you have current complaints and records that say that you have that as a diagnosis.
And the other thing too is file for any and all claims that you deserve to file for as well, because at the end of the day, you might have other disabilities that while they're not presumptive, they could be due to service. And keep in mind, you can file for secondaries at the same time that you file for primaries. So since you have your ITF in since October, we're now in February, so it's been about 4 months. If it gets close to that ITF expiring, and we don't mean like a few days, we mean like a month before, even 3
October
weeks,
1st. No later than
October
October
1st,
1st.
you need to file any and all claims under that ITF, regardless if you have the evidence to support it, because you can always upload the evidence for that claim later on down the road. Then after you file on that ITF, you want to immediately the next day file another ITF and put it in place, so that if you do have additional claims that you would like to file, you wait and put them under that ITF down the road. Let the existing claims under the existing ITF go through the process and get finalized. Okay,
That was a mouthful.
it was a mouthful.
Lizzie Woo.
Yay, thank you. I appreciate it. And I will get back to you on some of the things that you emailed me. I truly appreciate it, Lizzie.
And Tim Dog, you're welcome very much. If you have any more questions, you can email us. Steffi, Blake, myself, anybody else will be happy to help you, whatever
Yep.
we can to file what you need.
Yep. I think Lizzie's got a question after Trim CM.
Yeah, I got a bunch of stuff here.
I think Trim CM's next, right?
Yep.
Yes.
TRECM. That's interesting.
I know.
On the old school schedule, are GERD and hiatal hernia given an individual rating if you have been diagnosed with both?
No.
Nope.
Highly suggest you watch my video on the new updated digestive system criteria. Under the old, GERD was combined with hiatal hernia. There was no separate rating per pyramiding rules. So if you had GERD, it was combined. So if you had, and I guess my question is, why you're asking that question, because I'm wondering, do you have a claim pending under the old criteria? Because if you do, then you may want to be considered under the new criteria, because that came out on May 15th, 2024. So,
I linked the digestive video in the comment section as well.
right.
So that'll give them some information, old versus new.
Yeah.
Okay. Is this right? Nope.
This is Lizzie. Yeah, that's right.
Yep.
She's next.
Sorry. Well, she's got two in the hopper here. I want to get the first
Okay.
one. Hi guys, we got sleep apnea at a higher level review for 30%. We filed a supplemental claim for CPAP right now. Before the claim was granted or denied, the new law, are we protected by the old law?
There is no new law. Let's get that clear. There's a proposal.
There's a proposal.
There is no law. So
The
the answer is
proposal has
yes.
been there for a year.
3 years. The proposal's been there since February. Listen, guys, the proposal on audiology, respiratory, and mental health has been a proposal. Now listen, since February 2022. 3 years. And yet there's video after video after video telling you that it's going to change. And that date comes and that date goes. So Lizzie, your husband is rated for 30%. He got that grant. If he had the CPAP when he got that 30%, then he should be 50 and you should be filing an appeal. If he got the 30% and then he got the CPAP issued, then he has to file a new claim for it. But either way, he should get the 50% for obstructive sleep apnea. But just everybody keep in mind, it's just a proposal. It's not gone into law. And as Blake said earlier, anybody who is got a claim now existing, even when and if it does change, you are grandfathered in to the existing current ratings for sleep apnea. Did you want to touch on anything on that, Blake?
Nope.
Okay.
No touchy.
No touchy.
All right, Nikki Cedeno.
We missed Juliet
LeBlanc.
LeBlanc
Hmm.
right after Laughing Guy. He said all VA community care rep calls them direct. Worked for me. And then you said that works too, Laughing Guy. The veteran is their best advocate.
Oh, that wasn't really a question.
Oh, it's not?
Also, I'm service exempt for PTSD and only have other issues. I could file claims, but don't want to risk losing the P&T. She's
The
So-
100%
only time you're going to lose
P&T in IU.
Oh, she was the one about IU?
Yes, she was just saying that she doesn't want to risk
Okay.
losing it.
Well, let's touch on this. Go ahead, Blake.
the only time you will lose your PTSD rating or anything for that associated with that is if you file a secondary to that PTSD. They may reopen it, but let's say you have a knee problem that you want to get service connected and file for it. They're not going to look at your PTSD for something going on with your knee or your back.
So you're 70% for PTSD. If you have other claims that you want to file for, absolutely file for them. Your 70%, and again, my video is coming out next week, is only protected under the 5, 10, and 20-year rule. The longer you have your rating, the better off you are protected. But again, don't be afraid to file for claims that you potentially could get service connected for because you're afraid to lose your IU. You are being paid IU because you've already been deemed unable to substantially be gainfully employed because of your PTSD. So at the end of the day, it's your decision, Juliet. But if you have claims, I would file.
Okay, now Nikki Cedeno. I had an episode in the military. I went to the emergency for intestinal blockage. I also had a back strain that turned out to be a herniated disc, L4L5. I am service connected. I was diagnosed with IBS, gastritis, internal hemorrhoids this past summer. I went to submit a claim, but not sure if I should claim secondary to the disc or a new claim based on the intestinal event.
All right, medical doctor. A disc doesn't cause this, so go ahead.
Yeah, you need to claim it for the possibly the intestinal blockage. There could be an argument there for it, but I don't know that your back. Your back strain is not causing your IBS.
No, I would go definitely. I am rated for IBS, Nikki, with all of my issues in service. If you had an emergency intestinal blockage, I guess my question would be, Blake, an emergency intestinal blockage.
Question is, did she have
Mhm.
did she have surgery for it?
Did it rectify itself?
Yeah, my significant other had a intestinal blockage that she ended up having to have an actual surgery for, and it has kind of screwed with her stomach ever since.
And no surgery. Okay. Well, everything you have, IBS, gastritis, and the internal hemorrhoids, I think you could absolutely file due to primary.
Okay, here's Greg's take on that.
Okay. Thanks, Greg, for chiming in. IBS is okay, so mucemi is, hopefully I'm going to say this right, Greg, medically unexplained chronic multi-system illness. I hope I got that right.
Yes, that's right.
If you served in any of these countries recognized by 3.317 or PACT. Thank you, Greg. That's great to touch on because that means it could be presumptive, Nikki. So if you served in those areas, what Greg is saying is you could potentially file them presumptive. Now, if you did not, we'll go back to what I am. I am rated for all of those due to primary, due to service. So if you had IBS, you have gastro, all of those items now, and your GI doctor can state that they are due to service, then I would file them as primary because, as Blake said, I'm not sure your back strain is going to get those rated. Now it's possible if you're, here's the other thing. What if the back was rated and she's having issues, right? And bearing down and those cause those issues. It's possible, but
Um,
I would
not
go,
not probable.
The
okay.
muck me's probably better.
Well, if she doesn't
Yeah.
have any presumptives, then
Right.
she's SOL with that. But the muck me,
Right.
I would definitely, that's your only way if you do have presumptive. But if not, Nikki, get with your GI doctor, see if they'll give you some form of notation. As Blake says, it can just be in your medical records. You don't need a nexus letter. You just have to establish the medical notes in your medical file. And as Blake says, and we have several videos on it, you need the doctor to state the causation, right? Because this would be a causation, right, Blake? Not necessarily
Right.
an aggravation.
Right. It'd be
So
a
you just need the
causation.
doctor to state the causation. The IBS is caused due to service. And if you need more help, Nikki, feel free to email me. I know about these personally, so I'm happy to have a discussion. Okay.
All right.
Thanks, Greg. Hey, David.
Are cataracts or glaucoma connected to Agent Orange or connected to diabetes?
There may be an Agent Orange connection there. I'm not sure of, but more than likely not diabetes. Either one of them.
Let me see. Maybe Greg will chime in here, but hold on. Glaucoma.
My question would be what age are you? Because
He's older.
cataracts
He's older.
and glaucoma are both age related.
He's older, and the answer is no. Glaucoma is not considered a presumptive condition related to Agent Orange exposure.
Are cataracts, because there are some chemicals that can cause it, but I don't know.
I don't know how to spell cataracts.
There's a higher incidence in. Okay.
No. Cataracts are not currently considered a presumptive condition related to Agent Orange exposure either. And if you're trying to go with the Agent Orange exposure, David, I would highly recommend that you look up based on, I'm assuming Vietnam era, you should look up the PACT Act with the additional new presumptives for Agent Orange regarding the disabilities and the conditions that would qualify for presumptive due to the exposure. Now, remember, keep in mind, the AO exposure is not what you're going to get granted. You have to show that the AO exposure caused a disability, and that disability is considered presumptive due to the presumptive condition list for that era that you're trying to get granted. He's 74, by the way. He did say that.
Yeah.
Okay.
Nikki asked what the email was, but I guess you did it.
Yeah, I got that. Laughing guy. This guy's
Hey,
awesome.
Yay! Use your cha-ching. Thank you, Laughing Guy. We appreciate it. Gosh, every week we get the same people that help donate, and we so appreciate it, guys. And we got a couple new ones today.
Well, maybe you know what this means from Greg.
Yes. So what Greg is stating is the M21-1, which is that section. So if you want to put the M21-1 in that section, he's talking about ophthalmological complications of diabetes. Boy,
Yes,
that's a
there is.
mouthful.
There are complications from diabetes, but typically glaucoma and cataracts are not one of those. We're talking about retinal issues.
Right. And they're not presumptive. So is Greg trying to say that this section is
There are diabetic. If you have diabetes, there are ophthalmological complications that go along with that. Typically, it's not macular degeneration, but it's a retinal. The vessels grow out from the retina instead of around the retina, causing blindness.
Greg said, just an FYI, they do include them there, but what Blake is saying is true. So David, listen, repeat that again, Blake.
Yeah, typically it's issues with the blood vessels in the back of the eye, as opposed to and blockage of those with small infarcts and the way vessel actually grows. So, but the cataracts and glaucoma may be included in that, but you're going to have a pretty strong nexus from both your ophthalmologist and your diabetic specialist.
And that's what Greg is saying. He's saying it just takes a medical opinion linking A to B. And then if you could put that up, Chris, the last thing he said about diabetic, I'm not even going to try to.
Retinopathy.
Impairment.
Yeah.
Diabetic, okay. Or loss of vision due to damage affecting blood vessels, which is exactly what you said. So it would take a nexus. But to answer your question, Dave, it's not presumptive.
All right. When's the new reduced sleep apnea rating go into effect?
We just talked about that.
We just talked about it, Eagle Chick.
Hey, it's in the queue. I got to put it up.
So there
We don't know. But we don't know.
There is none. The latest news is it's been pushed back now till August. And again, it keeps getting pushed back. It keeps getting pushed back and it keeps getting pushed back until we have an actual date that it's going into law. We're not going to put any videos out other than there's no news to report till there's news to report.
All right, Timothy Freeman. I have left ankle instability, knee flexion, lower back strain, and bilateral radiculopathy. How can I connect bilateral venous insufficiency with iliac compression?
What the heck is that, Blake?
Well, you're not going to as much unless you talk to you'll need to get a vascular surgeon or probably involved to discuss it further. But I don't really see a huge connection there. Somebody could probably come up with a medical rationale other than the fact that venous insufficiency can happen from A, being overweight, B, being inactive, and if those other things are causing that, then again, you might use obesity as an intermediary to do that, but it's going to be a stretch.
And I guess my question is, Timothy, are you service connected for any of those? The left ankle, the knee, the lower back, and the bilateral radiculopathy? And now you're trying to connect the bilateral
venous insufficiency to the iliac compression.
Yeah, so that would be an additional question. What is the venous insufficiency with iliac compression? What is that?
What is venous insufficiency?
Yeah.
Typically it's where the valves in the veins have given up. There are valves in there like this. When your heart squeezes, those valves open so that the blood flow can go up.
Okay.
When the heart relaxes, they come back together like this to prevent the blood from pooling in the lower extremities.
Okay.
As we get older and more sedentary, a lot of times those valves give way. So they go like this, and then they go like this, and the blood doesn't stay up. It comes back down because of gravity.
Okay.
So that's what causes swelling in the lower.
So that's what's causing the swelling in the lower extremities?
Yes.
Interesting.
But I would like to know, Timothy, if you're rated for that stuff, because if you're rated, that was a little bit of a open-ended. I'm not sure about the question there.
Yeah, we got to thank David Gardner.
Thank you, David. We appreciate the support, brother. We really do. Thank you so much.
Thank you, David. We appreciate it. All right.
I have to take a shout out. Miss Ware. She's saying hi from Tampa.
Oh, yeah, I said hey.
She's from we met her on our cruise.
Oh, yeah.
She was my slot buddy. Hey girl, don't forget, I'm still there for you. So send me the information.
Here's Timothy's answering.
Okay. Yes, total 70%. My left side is totally off balance, going to chiropractor 2 times a month. Okay, so I guess you mean your total 70% for all your disabilities. So I guess my question, and this may have to be a question where you email me so that we can further answer it. And I'd like to do a little bit more with Blake on this. How are you trying to connect the bilateral to what? To what disability that service connected? If you can send an email to me, Timothy, with what you're trying to do, I'll be more than happy to get with Blake. I may even hit up my buddy Greg, and I will definitely get back to you on that. Okay.
All right, where did we leave off at? Victor.
Okay.
Victor Maduro. I got service connected for depression, migraines, and tinnitus, but got denied for sleep apnea. What can I do?
Well, we can't answer anything without seeing the denial, Victor, but I can only assume you filed for sleep apnea secondary to something and it was denied. The decision should be pretty straightforward why it was denied, but if you want us to look at the denial, you can send it to that email, redact your personal information. We'll be happy to look at the decision and get back to you, but without that information, we really, I don't think any of us can answer that.
Yeah, we're more than happy to help, and please email us, but please do redact your information. We don't want your
Yep.
social security and all that kind of stuff.
Yep.
All right, so I've been told I met Jeff Connors. Let's go to
Yes,
Jeff here.
I see it.
All right,
And
there are
one
many.
and Tim Dog underneath that too.
Tim Dog, okay. There are many studies that indicate OSA may be related to sinusitis, rhinitis, and asthma. The VA denied OSA secondary to these. Any idea why?
Well, first of all, you can't have asthma and sleep apnea rated separately or secondary to each other. That's pyramiding. Now, as far as rhinitis, Blake, if I remember correctly, doesn't it have something to do with allergic rhinitis? Is more
Yes.
plausible to get obstructive sleep apnea
Yeah.
secondary to it?
Yes, but also chronic sinusitis if you fit into the that box also. Now the reason they may the question is, did you submit those studies or did you just assume that the VA would go out and look at them? Because unless you submitted those studies with your claim or your nexus, then the VA is not going to go out and dig for that.
Right. And if the VA has denied your sleep apnea secondary to those, just like the previous veteran that asked, we would need to actually see your denial, redacting the personal information so that we can see why you were denied. But again, you're wasting your time.
And the evidence they used.
Hey,
Right.
Jeff was saying he submitted those.
Submitted what?
The studies, I'm assuming.
Okay.
What studies? What does he mean? Can you put up what he's saying?
He's saying that there are many studies that indicate this OSA.
Oh. Studies don't mean anything to you, Jeff. Studies are studies. Unless it's pertaining to you as the veteran, you can submit literature, you can submit research. While
studies will show correlation. They will not show causation in your case.
And
you have to show your individual causation.
And correlation is the big issue amongst veterans when they go out to buy these paid for nexus letters. The majority of them are inadequate and incomplete because they discuss correlation. You must show causation or aggravation. And again, asthma, if you are rated for asthma, you are not going to get sleep apnea. So I want to make this perfectly clear. If you are rated, filing for it secondary to sinusitis or rhinitis makes zero sense unless your asthma is rated at 0 right now or even 30. Then it's plausible if you were to get sleep apnea, it would go to 50, which means it would be combined with asthma because you cannot be rated separately for asthma and sleep apnea.
And the difference between correlation and causation is you have a study that says 60% of veterans that have this have sleep apnea. That's correlation. It also means 40% don't have it. Now you have to prove that you are in that 60% and why. What causes it.
Yep.
All right, Victor.
Oh man. Thank you, Victor. We truly appreciate the donation.
A lot of
All
support
of
tonight. We love that, guys. Thank you very much.
it.
We're very
Thank
appreciative of all
you.
that support. And
Yes.
you guys said I missed Tim Dog, right?
Yep.
Yes.
Can vets still use DBQs to submit with their claim?
Yes. They are available for your doctor to fill out. However, just like a nexus, they've got to be filled out completely and accurately. Otherwise, if they're not, then they're going to be developed for a CMP exam. And honestly, I tell this to a lot of veterans. If you're filing for a claim that has anything to do with the required CMP exam, like you need to get a ROM, a flex, and an extension, anything that you need to be in person, you're still going to get the CMP exam. But yes, you can, except with mental health. I believe mental health, and if Greg's still on, he can correct me. I don't think a DBQ can be filled out unless it's a um, uh,
Psych
psychiatric
provider.
doctor. Yeah, I think still though, I don't know if they can fill out a DBQ, but in any event, yes, the DBQ can be filled out by your provider, but it must be filled out correctly.
All right, JC Jones or Jones? What do you think?
JC Jones.
Jones. All right. Recent MRI shows arthritis of the neck. I've had lower back issues since service back in early 2000s. Rated for disc degenerative currently. Could neck be secondary to back rating? Limited in neck movement and pain.
How does that work with the house? The house theory, Blake.
I was looking at one of the other questions.
I'll put it back up there for you, Blake.
Goes arthritis to the neck. Well, the question is,
Can the back? Can he file the neck
are
secondary?
they
to
rated
back?
for degenerative? They're rated for disc degeneration where? In the
The
low
lower
back?
back.
In the
They're asking if they
Yeah.
can connect the neck secondary to their back.
It says
I'm
lower
asking you.
back issues.
Yes and no. Typically, things work from the bottom up when we talk about these. It's like it's a house. As long as a house has a good foundation, you're going to have good walls and a good roof. But if there's a foundational issue, then eventually the walls are going to sag, the roof's going to sag, and there's going to be problems. Now, the issue is here, you're missing the walls. You've got lower back issues and you've got neck issues. You don't say anything about your mid back. So
He would
technically,
it's possible.
yes, it's possible, but you're going to need to show exactly how it causes that. And
Yeah.
so yeah.
If your
And
doctor, go ahead.
again, not all things are related, and one of the things that a lot of people don't understand about trying to connect two things together is you have to look at everything out there that can cause it, not just the one. So you have to figure in age, you have to figure in weight, you have to figure in all those things. For someone to say that this one thing is more likely than not and rule out all 17 other things that you've got going on is hard to do. It's hard for a medical professional to do.
Well, and the other thing too is you need to get your doctor to state unequivocally that the lower back has caused your neck, your current chronic neck disability. If you can get your doctor to put that in your notes, then you can go ahead and file for it. But at the end of the day, it is plausible. You could.
Yes, you can tie them together. Again, it's all in what is said and how it's said.
And I think I wanted to touch on something, Chris, because Greg he mentioned about the DBQ. The other gentleman was asking about their doctor filling out the DBQ. I thought I was correct somewhat. The initial PTSD DBQ is not available to the public, but the others can be completed by qualified providers. So to answer the question on the DBQs, the answer is yes, you can get your doctor to fill it out with the exception of the PTSD.
Okay, next, Zach McCrae. Is it odd to have a CMP exam for sleep apnea and they just fill out a DBQ and weren't asked to provide a medical opinion for a nexus? Will that likely request one or have me go back in?
Is it odd for a CMP exam? Well, typically I don't see CMP exams for sleep apnea. What I hear is an ACE review, which is a review of your medical records, because there's really nothing to ask the veteran. The provider that's doing the CMP exam for the VA for sleep apnea is going to review your sleep study. Now, if your sleep study is old or they require a new sleep study, then you're going to have to go in and do another sleep study. But typically, I don't see where you go in an in-person exam for sleep apnea. They will typically just review your records, and they will provide their rationale to the rater basically on the DBQ. So they're going to review your records.
Okay. Lizzie Wu, VA needs to know the veteran regularly uses CPAP, then they can possibly grant you 50%, right? Then how do they know it? What should we provide?
Okay. So if your husband's using a CPAP, all you have to do is provide where the doctor requested and issued the CPAP, and you submit that to the VA to get the 50% rating for the use of a CPAP. Now, keep in mind, just because you have the CPAP, the veteran isn't required to wear the CPAP. I want to make sure that's clear as well. But for your husband, since he's at 30%, like I said earlier, if he's got a CPAP and he had the CPAP at the time that the claim was pending and he got the 30, he needs to appeal and provide that evidence was provided showing he has the CPAP. If he got the CPAP after the 30% rating, then it's just an increased claim. You file the increase, you show that the veteran is using the CPAP, and he'll get the 50% rating.
All right, guys, check me. Have I missed somebody?
Did we get Victor's about denial on OSA?
Yeah, we talked about this one, right?
Yes.
Okay.
That's the one where we were telling Victor we need to see the
denial.
We need to see the denial as well. So yeah, I think we've come to the end of the questions.
All right, yeah, here's what Greg was saying too. The regulation provides that the veteran requires use of a breathing assistance device, not whether or not they are using it.
Bingo. And I have that saved, the M21. I have that screenshot saved, Greg, because I get that all the time. People in the group always tell somebody, oh, if you're not using it, you're going to lose your rating. Not necessarily true. All right, so we've come
Mary is asking us the question, how do we set up for a consult?
Okay, show her the email.
All right, Mary, here we go.
Mary, email at that email address, and I will provide you the information to set up the consult. It'll be a one-on-one with Blake and I for an hour. So email me there, and I will provide you more information. If there's no more questions, I'm just going to go ahead and do just a quick follow-up.
Hold on, while I'm on here, hold on. The pool boy is asking, don't forget me, but I don't see a question. Did you guys see a question from Pool Boy? I did a search and I only found 2 things from him.
Okay, so Pool Boy, drop your question because I don't see any of it in the chat. Oh, here. Pool boy, Steve Curtis. Oh, yes. Okay. Steve, we did not forget about you. He's the guy that I talked about in the beginning.
Oh yeah.
So,
Oh, he's
yes,
on.
Oh, okay.
yes. It was about his question about the 55-year rule. So Steve, since you hopped on late, you were the first one that I spoke about. So go back and watch the beginning and you'll see if you still have questions, then always feel free to reach out to me and I can answer any more questions.
Yeah.
But
Yeah. If we talked about yours right up front, so
yeah. But just to recap, we have 2 videos coming out. One is on the protective rule ratings of the 5, 10, and 20 years. The second's on the 55-year reexamination. They're going to be great videos. They're going to drop in the next 2 weeks. We
hold
do
on.
have a few.
We have another question here. Sorry.
Okay, that's
Is
fine.
there any compensation for heart murmur that I suffered while in the military?
Oh, I don't know. Is Greg still on? I don't know. Hold on. Hold on. Let me see. Heart murmur. What is Blake on a medical side? A heart murmur.
Well, the question is, what kind of disability does it cause you?
Because it can be rated according to the VA. So
It can be rated, but again, the question is, how does it affect you today?
and
You still have the heart murmur.
Yeah.
correct. But yet the answer to the question is yes, it can be rated. It just depends on like when you had it in service. Okay, so you had it in service. Do you still have a current and chronic condition? And can you relate it to service? If the answer is yes, then you should file for the claim for the heart murmur because it can absolutely be rated. Okay. Well, that said, I talked about the videos. For us, we're going to try and see about doing, yeah, please subscribe. Please come join the Facebook group. Email us if you have questions.
The Facebook group is the same name as the YouTube page, so it's easy to find.
If you're watching the videos and you have comments, post your comments on the videos. We're going to try and do a couple more in March. We're going to try and do 1 to 2 live Q&As a month. So, but my birthday's coming up next week. Woo, woo. And I'm only going to be 29 and holding.
29 and holding.
Yes. Thank you, laughing guy.
I thought this was the big 6-0.
Shut.
You watch your mouth. You trying to get me in trouble over here?
You're mean. Thank you, laughing guy. So I do go tomorrow to get my x-ray and I hope and pray I get off my knee bike and I get in that walking boot. Greg says 47 yesterday. Okay, well, you suck. I'm older than you. I don't care. I'll say it. I will be 54 next week. So there, I said it.
55 and older community next year.
But you know what? It'll be double nickels, 5-5.
I'm saying we're gonna move to a new.
Hey, and don't you qualify for AARP next year?
I'm already qualified. I've been getting it. So Pool Boy says, how do I find the videos?
Steph, can you share your screen?
YouTube channel.
I can share my screen. Go ahead.
Go to YouTube and search for it.
Right here, bud. How do I make this bigger? Go to YouTube and type in VA claims, veterans helping veterans, and you will see all of the videos in there for you. And also, if you subscribe, you'll see the lives and you'll get all the updates as well. So just go to YouTube.
Hold on. No. He has to go to the live and you don't have to have a subscription.
No, I'm trying to get him to go to the YouTube channel and subscribe, watch the videos. He can click on the live here and it can notify him. He doesn't have to have a YouTube channel to subscribe, right? Or he does. Actually, you do.
To subscribe, yes, but not to watch.
Not to watch. Thank you for that clarity, Chris.
So he's an old man, so maybe he just wants to watch it. He's go to the live section, pick today's live, and you can watch it without being a subscriber.
My apologies, because he wants to go see our live today.
Correct. He wants to know the answer to his question.
So it's right here. I'm sorry if you show the screen again. My bad. Right here, Steve, is the live that we're doing right now, and you can go back and watch it.
So I think that's it, guys. I think.
Thanks for the birthday wishes. Yeah, so
Thank you, everybody, for your donations. We really appreciate it. That always goes to help for all our subscriptions and softwares and equipment. And it helps with all of that stuff. So we really appreciate it.
Blake, we appreciate you, man. I'm sorry the Chiefs lost.
Hey, you know, like I said before, at least we didn't go out like the rest of the NFL and say, well, we didn't win because of the officiating. We didn't win because we didn't show up.
Yeah.
Pool Boy says he's got it. That's awesome.
Pool
All
Boy,
right,
just
everybody.
email us. We can walk you through it or whatever. We'll get you there. So, everybody, have a good night.
Blake,
We'll talk to you
thanks
guys
for coming
later.
on, man. We appreciate it.
Night.
Bye, guys.